Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and it's a holiday weekend here in the States, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. At least I plan to keep it short and sweet. In my notes, I have written, so I'll remind myself, people have family things to do, including you. Do not ramble. I don't know if I can abide by those rules. It's in my DNA. The proliferation of pretty plastic produces pleasant ponderings within my person. Or something like that. You put action figures in front of my eye holes, and I'm gonna go on and on about it, because that's who I am. That's what I do. In fact, I'm already rambling. Sorry, Prep Robo, who wrote down these instructions thinking, okay, I'm gonna listen to myself. Last week we talked about all the Bandai S.H.Figuarts figures on display at Tamashii Nation 2023. How did I miss the Star Wars Mandalorian Armored Moff Gideon? Oh, because I was 6,000 miles away from the show and I didn't see any pictures on the usual outlets. But thanks to Instagram user Rockchala, we can see Gus Fring in all his Mando glory. And again, see being the operative word. Just because Bandai shows us pretty plastic doesn't mean that they're gonna bless us with its presence. These could be sitting in a drawer for the rest of our lives. Still, it gives us a good idea of what to expect if this ever sees solicitation. You see me getting worked up like, I want this now. Why won't you give this to me? Now that idea is running around in my head because this, along with the Trooper, we've talked about the Ramen Toy CAG Set or CAG Set or whatever, it's that's CAG. Just some parts and pieces to make your McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman 89 Batmobile a bit sleeker and meaner. That set is now up for pre-order. There's the new canopy to streamline the overall silhouette, which I think was the biggest gripe from collectors. Sure, the rest of the car is toyified from what we saw in the movie in order to get it into retail at an affordable price, but everyone admits that it's the canopy that breaks the illusion the most. So I'm glad to have this option, and that alone would have been worth the very clever price of $19.89. But there's also guns that you can plug into the existing grooves on the front of the Batmobile. And then later, gas caps were added to even further that accuracy. When I first talked about these, I didn't know how they were going to attach, but Ace follows the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Just included some double-sided tape where you can stick it wherever you want to, but really you can use any kind of adhesive you want to. If you want it permanent, do some super glue or some epoxy, use the double-sided tape, lick it, stick it, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. Point is, it's included in the set, and like I said, I would have paid $19.89 just for the canopy. I keep saying $19.89 and then realize, oh, $19.89, that's pretty funny. But that's what you get if you want it. This week we got some updates for Fresh Monkey Fiction's Naughty or Nice collection. Unfortunately, Series 2 is not gonna make it in time for the holiday season. They are produced, they're making their way out of warehouse bay doors, but they're not gonna cross the big water in time to be under the tree. Shouldn't be too much longer after that, when we're basking in the cold afterglow of indulgence and consumerism. I'll just have to find a way to keep myself warm with these beautiful shots of the Gremlin King, Father Frost, and Barbarian Santa, who all happen to be my favorites from this assortment. Funny how things like that work out. Fret not though, there is a reissue of Classic Santa up on Big Bad Toy Store right now that should make it to your doorstep by December 25th. This is cool for people who jumped into the line late or prefers the beard color used here. I think that's the only difference between this and the original, the bright white used here instead of the blondish yellow. There was also an accessory set that included this head and some other goodies in case you wanted to upgrade your existing Santa instead of rebuying the whole kit and caboodle, but that along with a 6-hat set sold out quick. It was, when I saw it, it was like, oh, it's already gone. Don't worry though, since Series 2 is right around the corner, making their way in the world today takes everything you've got. Wave 2 is almost here. They're going to start soliciting Wave 3 over the course of December, and Fresh Monkey Fiction has said they're going to re-offer these accessory sets. So, don't worry, they're coming back around. Plus more Santas. Yes, please. LooseCollector has been teasing their iconic Heroes series for a while now, and this week we get pre-orders, and you know what that means. Well, actually reveals for what characters are coming in the wave. Basically, it's the 90s Wizard magazine's wildest dream. Seriously, remember thumbing through those issues going, oh, whoa, that's nice, and I don't read that comic, but it's cool looking, and customs, I think I can do that. These are that, just springing off those pages into plastic form. Hunter Rose was the easy one to guess. I mean, even pixelated, that black and white color scheme to the costume, just, oh, Grendel. And I say that as someone who hasn't ever read a Grendel comic. Again, hanging out in comic shops during that time is, oh, okay. Grendel. Plus, you know I'm a sucker for a good black and white costume, and that is exactly that. All that, along with the fluidity of the build, it's iconic. I get the name now. The other pixelated tease turned out to be American Flag, and I would have never guessed that. Surprise! I've never read that comic either, but again, going through magazines and such, I even know it's Howard Chaykin, because there were so many features on this character and him, you know? It's just ingrained from back then. And it makes one hell of an action figure, so I can appreciate it just on those grounds. Then there's the Rocket Man, who is the least recognizable to me. Well, maybe I've seen this before and don't remember, but it's the most intriguing to me here because of its pulpy newness in my brain. I recognize design elements, not the source. Like, I'm fighting the urge to say, ooh, a few of these flanking the Rocketeer would make for a sweet display. But I don't know if they go together. So I fully expect somebody to go, well, in the 1940s, this and this and that, there is a design going around, coming around, this and this. And yeah, I could have researched this, but I was too busy yesterday stuffing my face with turkey and coconut cream pie. So, happy Thanksgiving. And I say a few of these because, well, okay, this picture makes it an army builder, right? Do we need multiples? But then there's also 4 different unmasked heads. I did read the blurb, and I think this is the various actors who have portrayed the Rocket Man through the years, but at the same time, if you're not familiar, you can just use it as different dudes in the troops, you know? Either way, spiffy toys for you. If you want them, go get them. We are returning back to Eternia because there are a few new tidbits for Mattel's Turtles of Grayskull crossover. Roy Juarez, the package designer for the line, has posted some Instagram shots, and there's some interesting things going on. First off, the art on the back shows off Teela in her turtle armor, and that's awesome looking. The color scheme kind of evokes her green goddess look, but then there's blades in places that are very shredderish. That's shredderish. Good speed. Shredderish. She's also sporting one of Raph's Psi swords, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe Don and Duncan are mass producing the weapons they've made for the characters, and they're just throwing them out. Hey, we gotta take out the bad guys. Stabby, stabby, killy, kill. Second, the homage to the Menace of Trapjaw mini comic is amazing. I love it. Last but definitely not least, the front of the package reveals that there will be a Build-A-Figure Metal Botto. You don't know how many times I've had to stick that at Metal Botto, Metal Headaboto, Robo, Metalhead. This, like a couple of other figures in the line, makes us think mashup again when it is a crossover. So maybe this is Metalhead upgraded with Roboto parts, or vice versa, something. Like both of them got blown up and they had to stick it, which would be a mashup, but within the context of a crossover. Why is it so complicated? Mattel did kind of call their shot here, and I completely missed it. As a lot of you pointed out, the arm attachments that are included with Mouse Jaw are actually Robotos. In my excitement and adoration for this design, I went directly to Trapjaw's attachments, and I was wrong. I fully admit that. But more than that, my buddy Derek pointed out that in one of Mouse Jaw's pretty promotional pictures, he's actually sporting the Metal Botto arm. It was right there in front of us the whole time. So really, the extras included with this deluxe figure can be used wherever you want them to. Build Metal Botto, a lot of those pieces plug into various ports. If you're not interested in that, spruce up your army of mouse jaws with different gear after buying multiples for the mousers. This line's crazy. I've posted Roy's Instagram in the description where he posts a lot of other interesting top things. Go give him a follow. Didn't I say a week or two back that I was always on the hunt down for classic stuff whenever it comes to McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line? That wasn't a dare, Todd. Knock it off. It's coming in a little too hot and heavy lately. Last week we were treated to the Target exclusive gold label Red Tornado reveal, and now that we have pre-orders, we get a better look, and yup, that is a good looking red android inhabited by sentient air with a big collared blue cape. Yep, this looks even better than the glamour shots, and I'm not taking anything away from those, you know. I really dig the Tornado base too. It looks great, it does its job of holding the figure up while enhancing the overall presence, and it doesn't take up a lot of shelf real estate. That is my idea of a perfect base. Target also posted their exclusive gold label Animal Man, and I love this one too. In my head, the design elements and color scheme does not work, but then I look at the figure and I'm like, shut up, brain. That totally works. Yeah. It's a reused body with some paint apps on top of it, but comics! I do think if they're gonna use blank bodies, they should be blank. The boot cuffs do kind of sore thumb it up, but it also kinda, oh well, maybe he's wearing boots under the costume for extra foot support, because that's an important thing to think about as you get older. That's just me joking. I firmly believe that blank bodies should be blank. I get it, budgets and everything, price points, retail, boom. But yeah, just shave a couple things off if you're gonna just repaint characters, which within the context of comic books does work. I'm rambling, right? Stop. I haven't even got to the surprising part of it yet. Who had Sidekick Wolverine on their bingo card? Not this guy. I hate that the trading card and then the cover that originally had Animal Man with this bird claw hand thing was wearing jacket. That's just kind of rubbing and hitting, right? Don't get me wrong, Animal Man is accurate without the jacket, but why put the picture right beside the figure, right on the other side where you're like, oh, that's cool, but that would have been cooler. To beef up the Target exclusives, there's also the Jokerized Batgirl. This concept was announced a while back. We knew that it was going to be sprinkled throughout the Target exclusives. Take an existing mold, hit it with a little brand X. It's there for people who want it. No reason to get mad about its existence. It's just there. I do like them because I like Joker, but not enough to throw money down, I will admit. And I've said this before, the prop playing cards are tempting. Then again, I could buy a deck of cards and some different colored Sharpies. Moving away from Target to Collector Edition, we all know that there has been a big empty checkbox for a while. But now with the pre-order of a nice, basic-looking Wonder Woman, this is finally up for pre-order, and they're going quick, so if you see it, jump on it. Or don't. I'm not here to tell you what to do. This is just me. Blah, blah, blah. This is actually labeled Who is Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman. And I didn't look that up because, again, I was just roast beef and chocolate cake in it. Do not judge me. To me, this is classic Diana in a more traditional garb and color scheme with a slight modern flair. I was all ready to lock this in, but then McFarlane had to go and announce their Platinum Edition Superpowers repaint. Come on, man, why are you playing with my emotions like this? The blue bracelets did throw me off at first, but then I remember, hey, Superpowers repaint, that's the way it was on the original figure. But the brighter yellow, red, and blues far outweigh that gripe. I can get over some color on the arms when the costume sings to me like this. Then again, the metallics on the standard do tickle my fancy a little bit, so it won't break my heart if I settle for this. But my luck, I'll buy this and then 1 week later I'll randomly run across the Platinum Edition on a peg somewhere. That's just our fate in life. You know that's not it for McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse. There's always, well, not always, but a lot of the time there are reveals for future solicitations. Well, I say reveals. We saw Steel back at San Diego Comic-Con, so this is more of a next step in the process. Then there's also the Walmart exclusive gold label DC vs. Vampires Vampire Robin. Looking at this, I have two thoughts. The first is Walmart gets vampires, Target gets Jokerized. The second is, as someone who has never read an issue of DC vs. Vampires and only has the figures to go by, I'm thinking the heroes are doing a shit job fighting the vampires. They are getting turned left and right. Still, like Jokerized, they're out there for those of you who are into that kind of thing. I'm gonna be hunting down the Walmart exclusive gold label Owlman though. I never got the Target version. I'm not even sure if I ever saw it, but it doesn't matter because I like this design better. I know that goes against my classic tendencies, but I just like this color scheme. I like the new head. I like the cuffs, the little add-ons. Just overall, I like this Owlman better. That's the cool thing about options. Different things for different people. Unless it's Walmart exclusive. We'll have to see how that goes. Sticking with DC, it's time for the monthly MAFEX pair pre-orders, starting with Hush Riddler. Riddler? I say Riddler, don't I? Riddler. Riddler. I've said it too many times now, it sounds weird either way. This isn't a surprise. Medicom debuted this back during their summer exhibition, but it doesn't make it any less exciting. And hey, we didn't know it was going to come with an alternate head, so that's cool. The faces are kind of stylized, and I hate saying it like that because it's based on Jim Lee art. It's damn close, but for some reason I'm getting kind of, it's not quite vibes, you know? It's good, it's fantastic, but Jim Lee has that style, you know? That's recognizable, that's ingrained in the membrane. Ingrained in the brain! Echo comes in handy there, huh? Not off enough for me to go, trash! Abomination! Shouldn't exist! It's just something I noticed. That's it. I love the brightness of the green though. This is gonna pop off the shelf along with Ivy. Speaking of Ivy and the rest, Medicom's doing their damnedest to fill out the Hush display, right? I mean, they are just going whole hog. I'm gonna be honest, I'm surprised it's gotten this far. But if they're gonna continue going, we all have our wish lists and everyone can line up behind Robin. Because what's the deal there? It should have already been made. I need a good Robin for the shelf. But bookending the weekly with another Star Wars item because, hello, my name's Robo. Do you know me? The other MAFEX pre-order for the month is the Mandalorian Season 2 Luke Skywalker. This is another one we saw over the summer, but in the display case, he was wrapped up in his cloak, so we didn't quite know what was going on with the body. Would Medicom be the first company to give us an accurate Luke from Mandalorian Season 2, instead of rehashing a Return of the Jedi Luke and calling it good? Yes, they would. And they did. I forgot how I started that sentence a minute ago. Granted, it's not a huge difference. It's still an all-black costume with some tunic action going on, but Luke in Mando Season 2 was sporting more of a prequel Jedi upper body. Yeah, the texture's a little heavy from what we saw in the episode, but it nailed the layers look. I feel like I'm getting really nitpicky here, but it's Luke Skywalker. It's Star Wars. Again, I'm Robo. Have we met? The part of the tunic hanging below the belt should be a bit longer, but it's, again, closer than any of the other company offerings. The head is... it's okay. It's almost capturing that deep fake look of Luke from the episode, where you can look at it and go, hey, that's Luke. But not quite Luke. The shoulders and elbows are also a bit gappy. We've been seeing that with some recent MAFEX figures, and I'm not sure I like that trend. I'm sure it gives extra articulation because it's air. There's no plastic on plastic violence. So, maybe? But we'll see. The saving grace to those appearance gripes, though, is the cloak. It's meant to stay on. That's how he appeared in the episode, so that will hide the shoulders and the elbows and, if you do it correctly, part of the face, at least until he dramatically swoops it to the back. And the soft goods do look a lot better than what we saw originally, because that was more of a, do we put the cloak on? That may have been just a case of throw it in the display, as opposed to, we're gonna take pretty promotional shots. Let's be a little bit more careful here. I'm glad they did, because this picture right here sold it for me. I want to get this figure, play around with it, take some pictures, review, some spinny video, and then put it in this exact pose, place it on the shelf. Which also covers my complaints about Hasbro's and Bandai's figures, because it's mostly the upper body that's wrong there too. So, Greetings, I'm Robo. And that's all I got for this week. And is it weird that there's not a Marvel figure in sight? I have been noticing a lot of third-party pre-orders going up, but we'll swing back around to those, because again, this week's been kind of hectic, going house to house, hanging out with family, eating some more. So I'll wait for one of those slow weeks to kind of ease third-party back in. You know, one of those slow weeks that we have oh so often these days. Oh, and a little update, I went back to the blue screen because the green was doing okay, but there's a learning curve. Just going from green to blue. I know what to expect here, and I can account for it in the editing software. With green, other aspects was coming in, like glow, and so I don't know. I don't have it tacked down all the way, as you can see over there, where I can just pull the blue back off and test with the green some more, but this will also work for other things. Oh no, and now I have revealed too much. Get out. Get on out of here.